Hello.
Hi, thank you so much for joining us this morning for another edition of Ready for Happiness Live. My name is Kathy Brandon, and I am your hostess with the mostest happiness chick. We are bringing you another guest who has created a unique way of being happy in this world, and they've done it so well that they're out there creating happy in the lives of people all over the world. And so I'd like to take a minute and introduce Dave and Kim Ryder. Hi, you guys. How are you?
Very good. How are you?
Hello.
Doing really good. Doing really good. I'm very excited about your work. But before we get into kind of what you guys do as a living and how you contribute, let's talk a little bit about your story. You know, where did you guys come from? We already kind of heard your accent, Kim, so we know there's a story with that. But tell us, you know, what's your background? Like, what got you to this point?
Right. Well, shall I start first? Okay. Well, I'm from South Australia, Adelaide in South Australia, and I started my journey a very long time ago. When I was very young, I travelled around the world. I went to England, and while I was in England, I became a musician and travelled around doing lots of music, which was very exciting. And then I got into my late 20s, and I decided to do something different. I learned to be a yoga teacher. So I went off and did 3 years study, became a yoga teacher, and I've been doing that ever since. It's really kept me in good stead throughout my life. And then I started to get interested in lots of other things like massage therapy and just anything alternative. I really enjoy all alternative things. I studied herbal medicine, all sorts of stuff. And then I went back to Australia, and I started to get more interested in what was going on in the mind as well, mainly because of my own stuff. I really wanted to clear a lot of my own stuff up, and I just didn't know how to do it with what I already knew. And then a friend introduced me to a process called Faster EFT. Well, EFT is emotional freedom technique, but Faster EFT is emotionally focused transformations. And a guy from the States, I sort of got to know him along the way as well, but she introduced me first, my friend Mandy, and I had a session with her because I couldn't overcome my own stuff myself. And it was just an amazing process. I just, you know, as soon as I had this process, I thought, this is it, this is the answer, this is the missing piece. And I wanted to learn everything there was about this. But I had to wait almost 8 months before this guy came to Australia, and finally I did the first level and training, and I haven't stopped. I'm now an advanced practitioner, and I travel all over the world doing this process for people because it's awesome. So that's me in a nutshell. And then I met Dave, but I'll let Dave do that next bit.
Okay. Well, I've always been a fan of self-help, self-development. You know, reading books. Back when I was a teenager, I remember school bored me. I wanted to learn more about other things. You know, like emotional control and stuff like that. So I remember buying some good books early on. Wayne Dyer's erogenous zones. It's really erroneous zones, but I thought it was erogenous zones too, you know.
That's good. Just 13 when you got that book. Was it 13? Thinking.
Oh boy, was I surprised when reading it? It wasn't what I thought it was. But...
Right.
Anyways, I learned some stuff. I remember Ken Key's to higher consciousness books and stuff like that. That really intrigued me. There was more to it going on than what I thought, and I was really attracted to that aspect. And I started my process and journey and discovery, self-discovery, and I went through several careers, different things, developments in life, trying to figure out what I really wanted to do. And it kept coming back to teaching, and it kept coming back to helping other people, and And so eventually I started a clinic where I became very good at medical massage, or like there's a guy out there called a pain whisperer, and it's the same kind of thing where people come in with problems or issues, pains, chronic pains, and I'll help them get out of pain, faster than they would with medication or just ice alone, whatnot, or just remedial therapy, or or just regular massage, or physical therapy, that kind of thing. But what I noticed was there was a big gap there, and that if I worked with the emotions, the results would last longer, and the changes would be more profound. And so eventually I was looking for ways to incorporate addressing the emotional aspects with the physical work. So eventually I came across EFT, and then faster EFT, and which is a combination of NLP and EFT, and started learning that and integrating that into my practice, and with phenomenal results. The results were more permanent. They were unexpected results. So, for example, if somebody comes in back pain and they end up getting their releasing their depression and not producing depression anymore, that's an unexpected pleasure on the client's part, and they didn't come in for depression. But if they heal something that they were not expecting to heal along the road to addressing their pain, then that's a unexpected pleasurable result, and I really enjoyed that. So and then Kim and I, we met out in Hawaii. We were working with a treatment center doing some addiction protocol, helping addicts overcome heroin addiction and methamphetamine addictions, things like that, and addressing the underlying issues, the emotional drivers, and behind the addiction, and also the cravings for addiction, the cravings. So anyways, we met out there and we started working together, and we really enjoyed working together, and we started developing this new technique where we work together simultaneously.
Yeah, it was sort of like it was by accident, really, because we were doing sort of so many sessions, one after another. It was like a marathon for 10 days, if you can imagine, session after session, back to back, 2-hour sessions and longer. And there was, I think, halfway through the week, because it was my first experience of doing this, I did 4 sessions in a row, and you can imagine it sort of takes its toll after a while. The first 2 days I remember being really sort of like elated and excited by the work. By day 3 I was exhausted, and I think the last session really took its toll, and I just thought, no, I just need a break. And then a couple of the other practitioners said, why don't you just sit in with somebody else? Why don't you just sit in with someone? So I asked Dave if I could sit in with him, and then he said, oh, just join in, So we started developing this process of, normally it was one practitioner with one client, but all of a sudden we're working together, 2 practitioners working on one client simultaneously, and it just developed from there. We just worked together ever since after that, because we got awesome results.
The task of working with addiction, for example, is it's a monumental task. There's a lot to accomplish in a very short amount of time if you want to do a good job. And we found out working together we could accomplish more in less time.
Yes.
More effectively. So.
Well, we had one really...
for many reasons.
The guy that trained us, because he's the one that sort of like got everyone together to go out to Hawaii, he videotaped one of our sessions, and I know that he actually used that as part of his training. And that was like one of the first sessions that we did together. But because we got such awesome results, and basically we were working on this guy who had multiple addictions. He had about 5 different addictions going on at once, and we nailed every single one of them in one session. And I think the guy that trained us, he was just so thrilled by that he was just raving about the work that we were doing. And through doing that, now there are quite a few other practitioners starting to do this process as well, because of the work that we started, which is really good.
Now, talk to us a little bit about this work. There are a lot of people that don't know what EFT is, or they heard some story about what EFT is. So let's talk about what that work is, and let's give everybody a little something they can wrap their teeth around about this work. Then we can talk about some other things.
Okay.
Well, EFT, what we practice is a discipline called faster EFT, and part of it came from EFT, which is an emotional-based therapy, where if somebody has a problem with emotions, some kind of emotional issue around any kind of problem, they can use a process of tapping certain acupressure points on the face and the body, and doing a few other things to help release the what they believe is a blocked emotion or a disruption in the energy system, the meridian system. Our belief is a little bit different than that. What we believe is that there's nothing wrong. It's not something broken or disruption or in the body, but it's actually it's a product. Actually, people have problems because they're good at it and they're doing it perfectly. Not because something's blocked or broken, but as a result of conditioning and practice, they've actually gotten good at having problems and producing certain symptoms. Right? And so that's what we do, is we go in and figure out how they produce what they're experiencing and help them to change that in a very short amount of time. And that's kind of the key with faster EFT, is that we use some tools that we learned from another system called NLP, which is neuro-linguistic programming, and which is the science of how the mind works. And it's been proven, all skepticism aside, it's fairly technical, but we make it user-friendly and very applicable to everyday life. So the kinds of things that we can achieve with somebody that needs help in a short amount of time are very practical, and they feel the result immediately.
Yes.
And sometimes they don't really know how, because we're working with the unconscious mind.
Yeah.
Whereas some of the other therapies out there might use more conscious processes. We're directly communicating with the unconscious and aligning the unconscious programs and beliefs with the conscious mind, so that they're working together in unison for the individual's best interest.
Yeah.
Instead of working against themselves.
That's right. So basically, whatever you focus on is what you get in your life. So if you're always focused on negative aspects, problems, other people, other, anger issues or frustrations or whatever it is, that's what you're going to get more of in your life. And, because we know how to do that really successfully, that's what we're going to produce over and over again. So what we're trying to do with this process is actually, eliminate and let go of all of those aspects so that you can start to feel better. And what we're going to train you to do is actually develop skills in becoming more positive as well. And thinking about more positive things, so that you can actually direct your mind, your focus, your attention on something more positive instead of always going down the negative road.
Right. So basically what I've heard you say, and I think this is very interesting because I think this is really a good baseline of what you guys are doing. Most people come at the way we think as, oh, you're thinking wrong. If you will think right, then everything in your life, it's all about the thinking, which I think is accurate. It is all about the thinking. But I like the fact that you guys come from a perfection standpoint. I agree with that. I think that, what we label as bad behavior in society and bad thinking is learned thinking, learned behavior, crisis behavior. Yes. And you do it for so long, it just becomes part of you. And so a lot of times we don't realize that in order for us to feel safe and sound, in order for us to feel this in our life, we will create all these dramas by seeing the world in a specific space. Like I have a friend of mine that, everybody is always up to no good, right? And so it doesn't matter how awesome somebody is, inside that person's mind, whatever that person does is going to be labeled as bad. Mm-hmm. And so, but they come from that kind of background where they were taught to be suspicious. Yes. And so therefore, they are acting in accordance of perfection. They're actually an overachiever. Because boy, did they get that, right?
Yeah, yeah, it's true. And the thing is that a lot of people's beliefs, some people we have that They don't even believe what they actually believe. It actually comes from their parents or whatever. They just learn how to do it just like them, but it's not even what they want, at all. But they just keep going down that same road because that's what they learned, and that's, it was actually their parents' belief, or, it's been generations of beliefs that have come, that they're sitting with and they're reacting to. So it's all about perception, and perception is paramount.
Yeah, that's a good point. The perception thing, the filters that we see and view, affect what we experience, affect what we do, how we feel, and how we feel affects or has a big, it can be a motivator, or it can be discouraging. So that affects our behavior, of course, how we feel. Perception is big, beliefs are big in what we do, and the Crossfire aspect, what we're doing together is distracting or overwhelming the conscious mind. The conscious mind can only absorb and keep track of a limited amount of information, and so as we talk at the same time and fire this crossfire at the same time, the conscious mind kind of steps aside, so to speak, or at least it gives us access to working with the unconscious mind, and we achieve faster results that way.
Yeah.
That's what it's really about, is finding out where those errors are, where the perceptions, the distorted perceptions are, where the things that they believe that are simply not true are, and then addressing them, not talking about them, not wishing or dreaming or hoping that someday they'll resolve themselves, but actually walking through with the client to resolve them right here and now.
Yeah.
So that they can move on.
So basically what we're doing is neuroplasticity, because basically the mind, the brain can change at any point. But a lot of old teachings, and it's been very recent that this has all changed, that, once upon a time there was an old saying that, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Well, that's simply not true anymore. We're constantly changing. We're constantly changing. Our mind and our brains are constantly changing. We are learning new things all the time. But it depends on how much stress you've got in your life. Now, if you've got so much stress and you're producing so much cortisol in your body and your mind, you can't really maintain new thoughts.
Right.
Or new memories, because you're actually, if you're continually stressed and producing that cortisol, it's going to affect your brain.
Absolutely. Yeah. So that's kind of what this is all about. It's like a self-development, personal self-growth process, illumination, getting to know who you are and how you function and how you work and how to do it better.
Yeah.
And emotional intelligence. It's about emotional control and being able to make new choices rather than acting and behaving based on distorted perceptions, right, of reality that we learned.
Or predictable patterns. Being so predictable all the time that, basically it's all about predictable habitual behavior. So if you're continuing to do the same thing over and over and you're getting stressed out every time, you're just going to produce that over and over, and eventually, the body breaks down. You can't sustain that.
Right.
Simply can't sustain it.
Now let's talk about, because I like the work you guys are doing. Let's give everybody some different ways to access you. I know some people, they like to access you one-on-one. And then there are some people that, just want to hang out with you in a group. And then there are other people that they just want to go out. They don't even want to talk to you. They just want to go to your website, stalk you out, buy your stuff, never talk to you. And so let's give people a way that they can really connect with you in a way that works for them.
Okay. All right, so so our websites, we've got a couple websites that are functioning. TotalIntegratedTherapy.com is one that is not functioning completely right now, but it should be done in about a month. CrossfireTapping.com is a functioning website. And we also have another one called Turbo Transformations, which is another up-and-coming, it's under construction. We're kind of redoing this stuff as need be.
Yes.
So we've got a few.
We've got Turbo Transformations meetup group in the local Dallas area as well, North Dallas. So we're doing those like quarterly meetups at the moment, because we've been doing so much traveling as well. We travel a lot around the world, and we go to the various fast EFT seminars around the world. And we just come back from Australia, actually, so that was quite exciting. So
yeah, and then fasterEFTCrossfireTapping.com. It's a long domain name. It's fasterEFTCrossfireTapping.com is another website, and they can email us at info@Total Integrated Therapy.
Yes.
info@totalintegratedtherapy.com.
Yeah.
Good. Now, one of the things, I really like the work. I've experienced your work, and I just had miraculous results in my life. You guys came along at a very big transition for me, so you guys have been instrumental in my journey, and you continue to be so. Now, one of the things, I want to repeat the web address. I want you guys to go out, those of you guys who are seeing the show today, those of you guys who tap into the show later through the distribution channels, you want to go and you want to connect to these guys on social media first. They have a fan page on Facebook, so you can connect to that fan page. Is it Total Integrated Solutions? Isn't that your fan page on Facebook?
I think it's Crossfire Tapping.
Crossfire Tapping, that's right. So it's Crossfire Tapping on Facebook. If you connect to me, Happiness Chick on Facebook, I am connected to them. You can also find them at their websites that they gave you earlier. You can also find them here pretty quick in the next few weeks on readyforhappiness.com under Happy Body and Happy Spirit. So we're excited you're joining our family.
Yeah.
So what we want to do is, Kim and Dave are here. They have created a unique way of being happy in their life. And what they have found is a very fast, quick, permanent solution to what's going on in your life. You know, if people around you are telling you that, you know, oh, your thinking is in trouble, or, oh, quit being so negative, then, you know, it's not that you're necessarily being negative. You may be being perfectly you. And so what we want to do is we want to make a perfectly happy you. And so what we want to do is, you know, if being who you are is somebody who just looks at the world as if the rug's going to be pulled out from under you, I'm not telling you you're broken, and neither are Kim and Dave. And that's what we're here to do, is let you know you're not broken. But what we're also here to invite you to do is to create a unique way of being happy for yourself in this world. And we're introducing regular people who are available to you to make that happen. And so Kim and Dave are no exception to the rule. They've changed my life. They're changing lives all over the globe. So please connect to them. Either use www.readyforhappiness.com. You can see this interview on Happiness TV. You can go see them on Facebook. You can go see them on social media. And you can also go to, what is it, Turbo? I'm sorry.
TurboTransformations.com.
TurboTransformationSystems.com.
Yeah, we have several websites. We're trying to develop just to let our we have had so many niches, so we're trying to make it more accessible. We work with post-traumatic stress. We work with rape victims, depression, these different areas, and we work with people that are just in significant pain, chronic pain. So we're trying to have several websites that will be more specific for these issues.
Yeah. Plus, we work with sports people and you know, all sorts of people that want to, you know, really start getting to that next level of their business, or you know, just taking that next step further, you know, in their life. You know, transforming their life to the life they've always wanted. So it's not just about the people that are in pain, but it's all about, you know, people that really want to just go to that next level.
Self-actualization.
Yeah.
Living our highest good.
Exciting. I'm really excited about your work. We have run out of time, so I'm going to have to close the show, I'm sad to say. But for those of you guys who just showed up, please connect to Kim and Dave Ryder. Is there something else that you'd like to share with us, Dave, before we go?
It was a pleasure to talk. Thanks for the invite.
Thank you very much, Kathy. It's been wonderful.
Awesome, and I really appreciate you changing lives the way you are. You're giving people the chance to have happiness in their life in ways that, you know, you don't have to keep on getting a tune-up every month. You can actually knock it out and move along. So thank you so much for your contribution. And everybody knows how we end the show. Go make some happy, y'all. Bye-bye.
Hey, bye for now.
Goodbye.
See ya.
See you later.
Bye.